What's up YouTube? Capital G here talking shining victories. In this video we got 4 cards to discuss, and I think that they all have, well, 3 of them have a lot of potential. I think that one of them, this guy, is the fucking nuts. I think that the other 3, I think that they can see meta play. This card, I think, we'll see some side deck play, and this is just a cool card in general. So anyways, we've got Rector Pendulum, the Drake Overlord, and if you're hearing Drake Overlord and you're like, where have I heard that before? It's obviously you've heard it here, Rector Pendulum, the Drake Overlord. To me, I'm like 99% certain they're the same card. It's the same guy, and you guys should know about the lore by now with Rector Pendulum and Rector Pendulum. You guys know I love the lores in Yu-Gi-Oh so much. Not just dual terminal, but like the lore of Sangan, the 6 Samurai lore, the lore that these guys have going on, where I'll quickly explain it. Basically, Rector Pendulum was kind of like an evil bastard, and he was like taking over the world with this evil army. Then you've got Master Pendulum, who he's a good guy. He wants to essentially kill Rector Pendulum, and he wants to do that because, for one, he's evil, and 2, he has powers that are similar to Rector Pendulum, and he doesn't have his memory, so he kind of wants to meet him, and he kind of wants to see if he can have some questions answered, and then he wants to kill him. So it's like 2 birds with 1 stone, and you see in Draco Face Off, they eventually end up meeting, so, you know, I don't know what happens there, but these 2 will eventually meet and, I guess, face off. So back to this card. It's a level 4 Dart Dragon Pendulum. Obviously, you'd expect it to be a pendulum. 1950 attack, which is the same as Master Pendulum. 0 defense. They've all got 0 defense, which to me means that like something might kind of have to happen to Mask Chameleon, because to me, it feels like Mask Chameleon is like the new Debris Dragon. 0 defense used to be a bad thing. Now it's starting to be a good thing. And considering you can detach any of these dudes for Xyz, or you can pitch them for like Magicians, or you can fuse with them for like Odd Eyes Fusion, it seems to me like it's not hard to get them in the graveyard. And then you just summon them back with like Mask Chameleon. So I don't know, man. Something might have to happen to Mask Chameleon. It might have to go to like 1 or something. But anyways, the pendulum effect of this card is, to me, the whole reason to play the card, outside of Draco Face Off, which is pretty good too. But the pendulum effect says the effects of face-up pendulum monsters your opponent controls are negated. So it is essentially skill drain on your opponent's side of the field. That effect is nuts because Skullgirbat Joker, get wrecked. Pendulum Wizard, get wrecked. The entire Magispector deck, you just get wrecked because you can't even play Yu-Gi-Oh! Summon Fox, get no effect. Summon Cat, get no effect. Summon Raccoon, get no effect. GG, no re, game 2. Like, you basically can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! If this card is in your opponent's Pendulum zones and you're playing Magispector. So this card's nuts. The only thing I think it's bad against is Cleafort, because if you have this in your zone, your opponent be like, okay, summon Disc, attack for 28, get wrecked. You know what I mean? All right, monster effect is, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles a pendulum monster, destroy that monster and this card. I don't really like that effect because if I'm beating a lower attack monster, I don't want my guy to die too. So, you know, plus it triggers like a Rodney and it triggers Plush Fire. So I wish it was banished so that I could avoid that, but I think the pendulum effect makes the card more than worth playing. The next card is Performapal Odd Eyes Light Phoenix. It's a light. It is Winged Beast Pendulum, 2000 attack, 1000 defense, P scale 3. Pendulum effect says if you have another card in your other pendulum zone and your opponent declares a direct attack, you can destroy that card in the other pendulum zone. If you do, special summon this card. The monster effect is during either player's turn, you contribute this card, target 1 Performapal monster. It gains 1000 attack. Can't be this card because you have to tribute it. This is it. Yuya used it on Arc V. I think when he was dueling in prison, he used it not to get OTK'd. The card is not that good, honestly. Like, I'd rather just run like Damage Juggler, to be honest. I mean, it's cool support for Performapals, but like they already got enough shit. And if you use the effect, you are giving up both of your pendulum skills. I mean, it's worth it if you don't lose, but like you better win the next turn, basically. Next card up is the Ritual. And if you guys have been keeping up with the, and actually I didn't know this, so I'm not going to try and take credit, but you guys should know it by now. If you've been keeping up with the Dracos, and then you've been keeping up with the pendulum archetypes that come out in the same set, you know that they've been corresponding with each other, and we're getting a lot of extra deck support. I'll explain it. Clash of Rebellion gave us what? Clash of Rebellion gave us Rector Pendulum, it gave us Ignites, and it gave us a Synchro Ignister. Dimension of Chaos gave us Vector Pendulum, and it gave us NXC, and it gave us Magic Specters. And Breaker of Shadows, we're getting Dino Mist, we're getting Master Pendulum, and we're getting a Fusion Dinister. And in this set, we're getting this guy, and we're getting Rituals, and we're getting the Amorphomages. Now, here's what I think happened. I think that a few years, I guess, at some point in time, I'll just say, Vector Pendulum went to the Void. The Void is where I believe that the Amorphomages live. And I think he somehow got corrupted, which is why he fucking looks like a madman in this video, or in this card. And then I think he ended up fusing with the Amorphage Dragon. So at some point, he's going to go to the Void. Now, I don't know if, well, this has to be after Draco Face-Off. So at some point, these two meet. And I guess he loses his mind and goes to the Void and fucking like gets corrupted into that abomination. That abomination is actually pretty powerful. Its name is Amorphactor Psycho, the Void Draco or Dracoverlord. And you can tell the card's fucking crazy. It's got Psycho in its name and it says Void. So again, I believe that the Amorphomages live in the Void. All right, it's a level 8 Earth Dragon ritual monster, 2950 attack, 2500 defense. You can ritual summon this card with a Morpheus P, and we don't really know the full name of the ritual spell or what it does, so we'll just have to wait for that. This card has 3 effects. Effect number 1, if this is ritual summon, or if this card is ritual summon, your opponent skips their next main phase 1. To me, it's going to be really hard to kill this card in battle, not just because of the good stat line, but because if you skip your main phase 1, then if you go to battle phase, you have to use whatever the hell's on the field. You know what I mean? Like, you can't use anything else. You can't summon anything and be like battle because you don't get a main phase 1. And we all know that using main phase 2 to do all your plays is just not practical, and it's not ideal because you can't use battle phase then. So the summon effect is pretty good. Effect number 2, and to me, this is the best effect of the card. The effects of all face-up Fusion, Synchro, and XC monsters are negated. Now, we've already known that Amorphages kind of hate on things that summon from the extra deck. This card is like the epitome of that shit. To me, this is basically the Necros of Unicorn in a card because, I mean, outside of negating monsters from the extra deck, like Pendulums, it negates everything else that comes from the extra deck. So this is basically like Necros of Unicorn, but like way more attack. Except it doesn't empower Cleafort if that matchup is still relevant. Effect number 3. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Draco Ruler monster from your deck to your hand, except this card. Draco Ruler is in the OCG, where Dracoverlord is in the TCG. So you could search Rector Pendulum or Vector Pendulum. To me, this card's awesome. Everything about it. The artwork's awesome. The fucking Necros of Unicorn effect, which I've used a lot when I play Necros, and the card can really just win you a duel if you can protect it. So I think this card is pretty good. As long as the ritual, I'm pretty sure what I hope the ritual lets you use monsters from your extra deck to summon it. That would be so good. I'm crossing my fingers that it actually lets you do that. I think it's going to do that because it has to be adjusted to power creep a little bit. Then the last card is Fuya Sakura, Drifting Spirit of the Winter Blossoms. That is this card right here. Now, as soon as I saw this, for some reason, I thought about Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. I was like, it's a lolly with a scythe. She looks like she's a ghost or dead because she's got the same little red eyes as Ghost Ogre, same white hair. I'm like, she's either a spirit or dead or something. So I'm thinking this is related to Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. And I just assumed that it was a tuner too because it's level 3 just like Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. So I was like, and you have the same stat line, I think, too. So I was like, dude, I guarantee you this card is very similar to Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit. And in fact, it is a tuner. It's a zombie. Same stat line as Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, 0 attack, 18 defense. The effect of Fuya Sakura can only be used once per turn. By the way, I don't know how the fuck they're going to fuck this name up in the TCG, but it's going to happen. Believe me. The effect says, during either player's turn, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can discard this card, reveal 1 card from your extra deck, then check your opponent's extra deck, and if there is a card or cards with the same name, banish all of those cards with that name in your opponent's extra deck. To me, if they would have had this card like a year ago in Japan, they probably wouldn't have had to ban Ptolemaeus and Norton, because those two cards basically just caused chaos and caused Cyber Dragon Infinity to be the entire OCG, to dominate the entire game. Cyber Dragon Infinity was just that fucking shit. Now, if they would have had this card, because I think this card will definitely see side deck play, I think this card will probably be used on those cards mostly. I think it'll be used a lot on Ptolemaeus. I think it'll be used a lot on Norton. Because if your opponent already has like a monster on board and then they activate instant fusion and you know what they're playing, just go ahead and banish the Norton. Chances are the instant fusion is just going to resolve, or it's just going to fizzle anyway. If they've got 2 Nortons or 1 Norton, they all get banished. You know what I mean? I think that you can use this against Cyber Dragon Infinity. I think this card is good. You can even play decks like Cosmos and Cleaford that don't even really use their extra deck. You can be a total bastard or a dick and side in things like, you know, a copy of Trevor against Sertello Knights. When your opponent has 3 monsters, just use this card, banish their 2 Trevors, reveal yours. They can't summon Trevor. Have fun not killing Dart Destroyer, because I play Tello Knights. They don't really have outs to that card other than Trevor. They got Trevor and Diamond Crab King, and that's it. And so outside of that, I guess Rageki. You know what I mean? They got like 3 outs to that card. So this card, to me, seems like it's going to be pretty good, especially at Ptolemaeus, Norton, and Cyber Infinity. I think those are the 3 cards that people are going to go after a lot. So let me know what you guys think of this, and thank you for watching as always.